All right, Wednesday, March 12th, 62 days to a SodaCon?
Whoa.
I don't know. Today we're talking about President Trump pitching Teslas on the front lawn of the White House for Superchargers and Southwest. I mean, it's end of an era for Southwest. We've known that for a while.
Man.
But now it's getting real.
It's like just falling into the
It'll be
earth.
interesting. What's next? Seat assignments? I mean,
I'm just sad, I'm just sad. But we'll get to it.
Well, yeah, let's get again. Want to talk about look, we are 11 episodes away from 1,000 episodes.
Whoa.
We're going to do a little something special. Kyle's going to be wheels up heading to New York for the 1,000th episode. So we talked about it yesterday, so we'll let that go. But do want to talk about Pitch Tank being back at ASOTU.
Yes. So Pitch Tank is going to be a little bit different this year. We are taking submissions as of today. You've got to submit a little bit about your company and an initial pitch video. We've got a panel of judges that is standing by waiting to receive the submissions. If you want to pitch, you can check out our email today, our LinkedIn today. You can check out my LinkedIn here in just a minute and find the link. Go submit. It doesn't matter if you've been around for 50 years, 5 years, or 5 months, you can apply to pitch. But here's the thing. It's got to be innovative. It's got to be novel. It's got to be a new thing. And you get the opportunity to bring you and your company to the stages at ASOTU. There'll be 9 finalists or semifinalists announced shortly preceding the event. So get in to Pitch Tank ASAP.
I love the fact that the legacy, a lot of people probably don't know, but if you're an OG, you totally know the legacy of Pitch Tank in general. Pitch Tank started out as a clubhouse room that you and Ben Hadley started. And I mean, this was before you and I were like working on ASOTU. Like this is OG. You were working at a dealership.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, the reason why I started it is because I wanted to hear pitches from 7 people a week that I didn't know about. And
in 1 hour.
In 1 hour. It was crazy. And I think that a ton of people got a lot of value out of it. Obviously, Clubhouse has kind of gone by the wayside. But man, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, we should bring something like that back regularly where people can like take an hour and get a whole bunch of information.
Yep.
Like an unboxing.
I think
maybe
there's absolutely something there. But look, if you're considering coming to ASOTU, that's another reason you should, because you know what it's like to sit through a 1 hour pitch. But what if you can sit through 40 minutes of programming and see multiple people pitch in multiple rooms, hear expert opinion, commentary, and questions on those things, so you can make some decisions on what's the best fit for you. And if you're not looking for a decision, you can at least know what everyone's talking about, see what's over the horizon. Just another reason to come to ASOTU, which we like to call the South by Southwest of the automotive industry. And I'm standing by that. It is. And I think like over the years, we'll start adding days to it, so it will be like a full thing. And so yeah, but again, ASOTU presented by Reynolds and Gooba Goo. We got a lot of stuff going. ASOTUcon.com. We're releasing things every day. Hotels are booking up. Just got to be there. You got to be there. All right, let's talk about some news. This one, I mean,
oh boy,
it's like a car salesman special, right? Like President Donald Trump, long opponent of Joe Biden's EV push. He used to talk smack on EVs all the time. He's changed his tune. Threw a political curveball on Tuesday by walking the lot. He created a little showroom on the White House floor and even considering purchasing a Tesla right on the White House lawn. The moment was seen as an olive branch to Elon Musk, vocal supporter, obviously, of Trump's administration, key player in the EV industry and kind of all the stuff that's going on in the country right now. Despite campaigning against Biden's EV mandates, Trump has praised Tesla's tech and price points as the event. And Trump definitely changed his tune, saying like, hey, we just need every kind of car. We don't need all EVs or all gas. He's like, they're all great. We need them all, but we need people to be able to pick. So, obviously there's a lot of protests going on of Elon Musk and Tesla by liberal groups unhappy with Musk's alignment with conservative policies as of late. Tesla stock obviously going down and just hitting a big bump and roadblock. They're like, where's the CEO? He's like, I'm running the company with great difficulty. Trump calling Musk a great patriot in service to the country. While admiring Tesla's tech, Trump drew the line at the new model lacking a steering wheel, saying, I'm going to pass on that. So they had that one.
Give me the steering wheel.
So a photographer noticed that President Trump was holding a handwritten note, and it's up on this screen right now. I'm going to read it. Leave it up there, Nathan, so I can read it. Basically, it's notes on all the Tesla models and the pricing. It says full self-driving, Model X, and it has the price, CT, a Cybertruck, right? It has the price, Model S, Model Y, and it's telling which colors they are. It actually, there are payment terms on there, $299 a month, up, of a $35,000 loan. It does say that self-driving has an extra fee. So it's got all this stuff on there. And Trump, he actually sat in one of the cars. I think it was the red Model S. And he says, I watched a moment. He goes, watch the Secret Service go nuts. Right. As he's sitting in this car that was unscripted and unplanned. And Elon Musk was like, it would be wild if we drove around, and Trump, I don't think, was into that part.
No. It's so wild. Like, you just look at like the photos and videos. It takes me back to like a 1993, like Saturday morning lot walk on the advertising TV like channel. It's like,
an infomercial.
We're going through here's the S model. And
look at this beautiful
you're
red.
love this. It's beautiful, right?
Todd
I'm gonna
Caputo
sit
is
in it. Look at the feel of that.
Oh, and this
exactly
red,
like
just
that,
love the stitching on the steering wheel. No,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's even though, right? Like, obviously, franchise auto industry looks at Tesla as somebody who is, obviously disrupting the franchise model and having an unfair advantage in a lot of ways. This is kind of it's still like cars are central to our country. They are, and now they're on the front.
We owe so much to Tesla as an industry for repopularizing the vehicle, right? And I think it's kind of made auto ownership, auto purchasing, interest in autos like mainstream again. And so to have just people like in the consideration matrix in a different way, I think is something that we should be celebrating and looking at, like, how do I, take this and bring it, take this energy and bring it localized to me, right? How do I capitalize on the visibility of auto in general and bring it local? And how do I like swim in the swim lane of, everybody's kind of in consideration matrix? How do I create educational content? How do I create social media content that swims in the swim lane, makes me relevant? Those things can easily be done at this point. I mean, imagine yourself like creating a video that kind of replicates this on the front lawn of your dealership.
Brian Ortega.
Come on, Brian. If you're watching, this is done.
This mission, if you choose to accept it right now, you need to recreate this moment. Please do it. I think there's like this strange like conflict, I think, amongst a lot of dealers, because obviously it's no secret. A lot of conservative, especially financially, fiscally conservative folks in the dealership world owning dealerships, GMs, but obviously Tesla, a very fierce competitor in the EV space. And so there's probably a lot of people conflicted on what they should think or do right now.
What should I do?
But if there is anything like on the competitive side, it's a little data point I just read today. It's not in the show notes, but Tesla registrations are down 11%.
Wow.
Last month, and non-Tesla EV registrations are up 44%. So that gap is definitely closing.
It's
as a result,
together, for sure.
Regardless of what your politics are, that's the truth. Yeah. Speaking of EVs. Stop.
Segue.
Time. So this is in news mildly relevant to a recent F-150 Lightning owner
that has not told anyone that he's an F-150 Lightning owner.
I should just start CrossFit and become a vegan at this point.
Just be done with it.
I know. I plugged mine in for the first time. It's sitting outside my window. I plugged it in for the first time in the charger that's out front of the building. So Nathan's like, how long is that going to take to charge? I was like, I have no idea.
It's way too long.
I don't care. It's there. I know I got plenty to get home. But basically, Ford has officially delivered over 140,000 NACS adapters. That's the adapter to the Tesla charger to its EV customer. The move granting EV drivers access to the Tesla supercharging network. It's basically in 2023, they announced this was going to happen. Tesla supercharger network open. And they said you can have a free adapter. They've shipped 140,000 of these things.
It's pretty strong.
But now that's done. And that's done. So now you have to pay. I had to buy mine, by the way.
$200, right?
Tesla Superchargers, it was like $179 on Amazon. Yep. Basically the same company that makes them that are Ford branded, but it's Lectrium. Tesla Superchargers accounted for nearly 20% of all Ford EV charging stops. And now Ford EV drivers can use Apple CarPlay, and the Teslas, when the integration happens, the Tesla Superchargers actually show up on the maps and it helps you route better. I could have used that last week or 2 weeks ago. And so it's just like a kind of like the end of a big announcement and the more like normalcy if you drive a Ford EV. Uh-oh, is Kyle gone? He's so gone.
He froze up, so it's cool. It's cool.
Great. Let's talk about me some more.
Let's not talk about Paul doing
enough of that. Yeah, well, I'll harness on Michael Cirillo. Enough about me. Let's talk about what you think about me.
About me. This is the one comment that I have about this is going to be kind of a regular, like, for all of the people that have bought things in the past 4 or 5 years with EVs, you're kind of going to get the grandfather thing. But everyone moving forward, it's like, no, you get whatever you get. So if you want to charge on the Tesla thing, you got to pay the $200. You want the software subscription thing, you got to pay for it, right? A lot of these EV manufacturers are saying like, hey, thanks for the early adoption. We'll take care of you. But anyone moving forward, there's enough education out there. But it does say the fact, like, you've got to educate your customer. You're a Ford dealership. Like, don't just bank on the fact that people know that they're going to have to pay for this like little $200 thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's
but hey, it might be a thing where for a little while, you as the dealership make the decision to go ahead and stock a few of these if you got Fords, if you got EVs in there, and make that a value proposition of doing business with you.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, do you know if Ford has, they have to have plans of just switching over to NACS adapters?
Yeah, has to. Right. I mean, that's what everyone.
Are there reverse adapters? There's got to be a reverse adapter, but I can't see too many Tesla owners be like, no, I need to charge at the EV Go station.
No, those Tesla owners be proud.
It's like, Kyle, you're going to use this Android phone? Like, not going to do it.
Not a chance.
Not going to do it.
Speaking of not going to do it.
Oh,
segue.
He's not paying for bags. He's not doing it.
Not doing it. Southwest Airlines is making a major shift, announcing that starting May 28th, it will charge for checked bags. Ending its long-standing bags fly free policy. The change aims to boost profitability, but may alienate some loyal travelers like your boy. Only Rapids Rewards A-list and business fare passengers will still get free checked bags. Kind of sounds like a couple airline programs that I know. Delta, American Airlines. CEO Bob Jordan framed the move as part of an effort to attract new customers and improve profitability. Very interesting. Southwest has also announced plans to introduce assigned seating by 2025, revamp its fare structure, and expand its international routes to stay competitive. So you're telling me you're not a regional low-priced airline that challenges the status quo anymore?
Let's talk about it. They've had one heck of a run.
Right?
When were they founded? In the 70s, 80s?
70s, late 70s. Yeah.
I mean, so it's like Southwest being, 50 years later, like, no, 50 years later, it's okay if you, in my opinion, it's okay if you change some things and revamp and just realize what you are now. Right.
Yeah. I mean, they are in the big players brand, right? They're like the last of the last of the big 5 US ones to kind of hold out on something different. And now you've got all these challenger value brands that you're going up against and not competing from a pricing perspective. So now you have to get into competing for like the business traveler, right? You're no longer the bus of the sky. And so
public transportation to the
skies, right? So you've got to figure that out, which means they're probably going to have to revamp some interior stuff, revamp some seating, things like that to attract more of that customer. Because, hey, look, people love, preferential treatment, right? A-list business fare passengers getting the preferential treatment. I can tell you, like, there's incentive to get on Delta and United and Americans preferred pricing and preferred seating tiers, but it's going to take a little while.
Southwest isn't the cheapest anymore either.
Not even close.
Right? So like if it was the cheap, like the value propositions disappear, I truly wonder if boarding the plane that way is actually faster. I'll tell you, as a passenger, it's definitely more annoying. Like there's more anxiety on boarding a Southwest flight.
Well, if you're like B43 and on,
right? Which means like I have to remember to check in on time, right? Like everybody knows, listen, even if it's like row 21, seat C, like people like knowing that is their guaranteed little place in the world where they belong for the flight. And, I flew a Frontier flight, I don't know, it was a few weeks ago. And Frontier now has some option. They have extra legroom seating, which you pay a little more for. And they actually have their version of first class where you can, where they guarantee no middle seat. So you get a lot of extra room. And it's not.
Spirit's done the same thing.
And I'll tell you what, like the opportunity to do that. I mean, I flew Frontier and I didn't book that. I booked that on the way home because it was like, I guess I thought it was cheap enough. And then by the time you add the bags and add the thing, like I still paid $400 for their like advertised like $59
flying
flight.
Just costs something, Like
yeah,
I think
funny thing about
just,
that, something that can transport you 1,000 miles away in and out 2 hours.
It just seems like it costs a thing, and whether you kind of upfront it or hit it on the back end, seems to always kind of get there.
Yeah, those $59 fares are for my 18-year-old son Miles.
Yeah, right.
He's like, oh, I don't care. I'll get my seat
got a
assignment
backpack
at the gate.
and I'll sit in the back.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Row 43 is gonna be great.
These old joints aren't ready for that anymore. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think this is a necessary move for a turnaround. Like they got here by doing what they're doing, and now they're in a new ecosystem. And it'll be interesting to see how they bring back the brand as a whole, because there's been so much bad press about the brand, negative sentiment around the brand.
Yeah, there has.
And I think if they just harness what they're great at and like really lean in, like I'm watching Starbucks do it in real time, right? I go to Starbucks 5 times a week. And I gotta say, they're crushing it. Like their turnaround point in Syracuse, New York, the hospitality.
But they're going back to their roots.
I know.
That's what I don't understand. Go back to like deep, get deep. Don't just like become ubiquitous.
The cost structure doesn't allow them to go deep anymore. But if they go back to the hospitality, the friendliness, right? Because back then the reason they even existed and people were willing to board, however, is because they're like, these were people that were unable to fly because it was too expensive. That's not the case anymore.
You know who the happiest people on the planet are? Spirit Airlines, right? Every single one of them is happy people. I've never met a non-happy one.
That's
true. The last 3 times I've flown on them, they do the whole like say funky things.
Yeah.
Like I had one person having the plane. They were like, "All right, now stretch your arms way up high, way down low," and they were like, "Now pick up the trash you dropped."
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. That's a great one. All right, look, we had a little fun on the show this morning. Had you thinking about customer experience, car sales, charging. Most importantly, we hope we help you think about the people. Make sure you go to ASOTUcon.com, get your tickets so you can be with all the people.